Hello, guys. Welcome to African Real Estate Podcast. It's a pleasure having you guys again. I'm Victor Kiplagat, co-hosting alongside
Dominic Mwangi, and last week on our episode 1, we learned a few things about why real estate is the best investment that everyone should consider investing. And today in our episode 2, Victor, what do we look at?
some of the opportunities people or friends in diaspora can invest in real estate while they are in foreign countries or even while they come to their countries of origin once in a while.
Exactly. Meaning the topic is opportunities for investment in real estate by the Kenyans in diaspora.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Thinking about this topic, find that we have rental, commercial buildings and apartments, whereby you find that the rental buildings that can bring a monthly income, residential houses, and even holiday villas, depending with the agreement that you have with the one who's coming to stay there, it brings a monthly income. Also, we have property management, whereby you can manage the property by virtue of even when these holiday villas are in strategic position, they can ensure that you have an income that is stable as a diaspora resident.
All right. Let me concentrate on one of your points that you said about residential properties.
Yes.
These are houses and apartments, etc., which are majorly used for home purposes or for shelter purpose. You find that residential properties can be for two uses. Number one, personal home. For you and your family, for example, when you come visiting from abroad, when you come to Kenya, when you visit, you'll have a place to stay. The second place or the second use, it can be a place, you can rent it out to people to reside in there, and definitely you'll be getting rental income. You may rent them out, which will boost your income. I was looking at the statistics from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, a census that was conducted in 2019. 7.4 million Kenyans live in urban areas. 90% of these live in rental houses. 2% of the population, which is in urban areas, lives in informal settlements. So I was thinking about, what if I invest in residential property? Maybe I'm in abroad. I invest in a residential property, then I rent it out in urban areas. There is a ready market for the residential property that you erect. This therefore is an opportunity for investment in the real estate property.
Exactly. When these buildings or these property are for commercial purposes, it can also bring a lot of income, either supermarkets or malls, maybe a field that is set up as a training ground for football or basketball. A property is commercially viable. In the long term, it brings profit.
Exactly. And to add on that, you find that in urban areas, there is a consistent demand of commercial property. For example, office space that is required for offices, companies that want a space for storing their products, businesses look for spaces maybe to begin their businesses there. An investment in the commercial property will see income to the individual. Also looking at some, or where there are commercial properties, for example, in the Westlands area of Nairobi, in 2023 and a part of the end of 2022, there was a rise in the demand for commercial property and particularly space. And that is a report by Knight Frank Investment. However, now an investor should always consider not to invest in commercial property where there is already a surplus, because the demand should be higher than the supply.
Critically, a very important point that we should also mention is, while trying to understand where to invest commercially or to have rentals, it's good to have a proper analysis and a proper research so that you do not invest where there's already investment, or it will be like duplicate investment.
Sure.
Another point that is very important, buying and selling of land. For example, if you buy a land that is in a prime location, its value is very likely to appreciate over time. We'll have malls, we'll have hospitals, we'll have schools, we'll have residential areas, we'll have commercial buildings, we have gyms, we have high schools. And also, when you consider buying and selling of land, or someone will consider to either have it for agricultural purposes or planting of trees, buying and selling of land is tied to different things.
All right. And in addition to that point, actually, you have mentioned 2 points in 1 point. When you buy land, there is a high percent that the land will appreciate. Acquisition of land in a place where you are assured of appreciation it can be a way of securing an asset that you are sure that when I sell it, I'll not make a loss, I'll make a profit. Unlike when you buy a car, somebody told me that when you buy a car, you get it out of the yard, it starts depreciating there. And then, unlike land, when you hold land for some time, it will have higher returns in the long run when you dispose it by selling. Particular areas in Kenya have a high potential appreciation of land. For example, areas in Nanyuki and Malindi, such places, and definitely in the subsequent episodes we will look at such to bring you up to date with the places where you should invest. You should always not invest in places where you're making losses. Another investment you can do concerning real estate is doing agriculture. You can acquire a piece of land for either a cash crop or food crop. I was also looking at some statistics, and I found that Kenya in 2022 imported 793.8 thousand metric tons of maize. This means that there is a great potential. There is a ready market. Investing in agriculture or acquiring land for agriculture could also be an investment that will have high returns.
Wow, sure. Renting space. When I say renting space, you might find that there are individuals who will have massive space of property, what I call a negative space. The space can be used to rent space for parking cars or for farming or for hosting events. When you rent this space, it brings return, especially in high peak season where events are plenty.
Exactly. I think that point is self-explanatory. Another investment opportunity is students' housing. Victor, you'll witness that the government is so much concerned about something they are calling 100% transition. The government is determined to see that those who leave Form 4s will definitely join universities or higher learning institutions. These learners will need houses, these learners will need places to stay. This definitely creates an opportunity, a gap in the market that I can say unexploited. One should invest maybe in housing, particularly for students, which will in return accommodate the high number of students who are moving from rural areas to urban centers, because you'll find that many urban centers accommodate tertiary institutions, for example, universities, colleges, and the technical training vocational centers.
Yeah, sure. Another area that is very key for investment, we have what the government is doing called the housing fund, whereby they want to build houses in different locations. The government can be able to tap into the diaspora economy. When the government has these bits and points and areas of collaboration with the diaspora community, it means that they are going to have a wide net casting as far as real estate is concerned, because it would mean a collaborated approach towards real estate investment in different areas.
Definitely, and thank you for that point. Actually, today you'll find that there is a lot of developments by the government in the housing sector. An investment by the Kenyan in diaspora into that area will definitely yield returns. Also, another point, Victor, is about real estate development. I have bought land, but I don't know what to do with the land right now. You can venture into a real estate development where you agree with these people. I will use your land, maybe I'll build you a house worth this amount of money. Then I'll collect your rent for this amount of time, then give the property to you. This is real estate development. You'll find that today, you'll find companies that are selling land, they have moved a step higher, where they are in agreements with the real estate developers. I sell you a parcel of land, then the real estate developer builds a house, then the rent that you are paying at the place where you are residing, you now pay at your place. After some time, you own up the property. So this is real estate development.
Exactly. You might find that someone went abroad, did business, the business picked up very well. They decided to have a very big apartment or a big house or a villa or a bungalow at their location. I decide and say, once we move into a different geographical location, our space that we have that we call home, we can be using it as a rental, or them going to hotels and sleeping will not be ideal. So the family says we rent this apartment for a certain number of days, maybe during December holidays.
Definitely. So we can marry that with a vacation home. Instead of your house lying idle because you are not around, you can rent it out maybe to tourists, people who are visiting and they don't have a place where they can stay. They can stay in there, and definitely that is a boost in your income.
A final point from my end is that you might find find that, and this is a very wonderful collaboration. It's a two-in-one kind of perspective. You find that there are cars or there are people who operate logistics to do with tours and travel.
Sure.
Especially tourists who wants to move to game parks or national parks. The individuals who are in this sector can liaise with holiday homes, with destination villas, dream homes, dream villas, so that those people who want to tour this location, it just be a one-stop shop. Like when we've taken you from here, we liaise with the host, the amount you need to pay, villa you're staying in, the different movement that you have. Transport has been catered for to the holiday home, and also the home has been secured while your vacation is on and going.
And for all investment opportunities that we have mentioned, Victor, there are merits. At the same time, there are possibly some few cons. As an investor, you should first of all consider your financial muscle. And I believe this talked about in our first episode. How tolerant are you to risks? What is the period you're trying to invest? You can recap in a first episode, and definitely always insist that due diligence, before you invest in any property, please do some due diligence.
Exactly. These opportunities are not going there anywhere. They'll be here today, tomorrow, rather than rushing and wasting tons and tons of money, which you could have invested very well. Always research, always look for the right counsel, the right real estate investor. And our podcast is home for any kind of real estate knowledge that you desire. We'll be making sure that the best real estate information gets to you at your home.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Victor. And also to remind them that if you need any information about real estate, you can always reach out on our website, African Real Estate Blog Post. African Real Estate Blog Post, and also on our socials, African Real Estate Blog Post on all social media platforms. Victor, any addition?
For me, the parting shot for today is buy Kenya, build Kenya, even as you are out there, because again, at the end of the day, home is always home.
Exactly. East or west, home is best. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope there was some interaction between a pen and a piece of paper. Always make sure you learn something out of our podcast, and we promise that continually, gradually, we will definitely inform you. Until next time, my name is Dominic Mwangi, and I have been your co-host, and today's host has been
Victor Kiplagat.
So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, see you.
Thank you guys. Take care.